As parents, we have to learn how to listen. And we cannot listen to them if we do not listen to ourselves. If we have a chattering mind constantly on, you are not available. If your glass is full, you can't absorb and take anything from anybody.
My name is Parul Gupta, and I'm with Kidstop Press. And today we have a very interesting guest with us. So did you know that you can actually tell us, seeing your handwriting can tell us about your personality? And we have with us Aditi Surana, who's a graphologist. Honestly, before this, I did not know what a graphologist was till I read up on you. And I'm extremely interested to know and very excited about what you have to tell us. So Aditi, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
That is, Parul, thank you for having me here. And that is my common problem. So, you know how people think how good or bad you are in your career? My career journey or discussion begins with what exactly do you do? Does it even happen? Like, people really take it as a full-time career? Yes, we do. I'm a graphologist, as you can look at the word, is studying graph, is a study of graphs which your handwriting creates when it comes to looking at different perspective, different personality traits, and it's applicable to everybody. Do you remember in our school when we were studying or learning how to write, there was one teacher writing on the board, and our job was to merely copy. But while copying, you developed your own handwriting, which is really, really different than your friends or your classmate or your best friend who sat next to you probably for like the longest period of time. Now that deviation from what the teacher was talking about or what she was showing is where your personality gives away how you think. And that is what graphology is about. Most answers are already with us. We don't require other people to tell us, but we never hear ourselves. So journaling is a very, very powerful technique where you take that 15 minutes time for yourself and you listen to what is happening within. And then you can, when you ask questions or when you talk to an expert, that becomes even more easier for you to look at. But without which, just doing it for yourself and just asking question without knowing where your problem lies becomes very difficult to understand.
It's the importance of the journaling is what is the key to a lot of it.
Yes. Graphotherapy is the key to it because journaling, many times people think is about writing my thoughts down. Now, if you're repeating the problem, if you're saying, oh my God, I can't hack this, oh my God, this is so difficult, why can't my child get it? If that's what you're repeating even in your journaling, then you're repeating the same thought patterns. You're just enhancing those problematic areas, even deepening it for that matter. But when you sit down and you journal in a solution-oriented way, the question is formed in a specific way. I work as a high-performance coach. So a lot of thing is about how do you ask right questions? How can you enhance somebody's performance by tweaking that part of behavior that otherwise is not available. Now, I do that otherwise any which way. So while doing it for parents, we didn't use the same technique, and it's kind of high-performing parents we want to create from. The days when you are calm, when you are feeling firm, and you don't have to raise your voice. You just feel that you are in control of the situation. But days when you're not feeling that good and you're feeling anxious, they just know it and they kind of know how to press the right button to get you to react. So
yeah. So I can be like any parent, I want the best for my kids. I want my kids to do well. I want to do, but that anxiety and that comes out in a wrong form sometimes. So how do you suggest I could control that? Or a parent can help bring that into control, for a lack of a better word.
Of course, and I think it's very, very important. What you're saying is correct. Like constantly while playing the role, while putting up that show, and it's 24/7. Let's accept it. Even when you're sleeping, you think you're relaxing. Anything goes wrong with your child, you're up there. You want to do everything at your best. So it is not, it's not like a job that you go to and you come back. Parenting is a full-time, lifelong job that you are into.
Totally.
So when you're that invested, being honestly and authentically calm is the only way to talk about calmness. You can't pretend to be calm and achieve the results. You can think that I'm going to look calm, but that doesn't work because if you're not calm genuinely, your voice, your body language, your authenticity of everything that you're communicating will carry that forward. And that's exactly what happens. Mothers with toddlers have told this to me again and again, that when I am upset, my child cries a lot. And I don't know how he or she knows it, but it's exactly how it works. Now we are that connected. So what we do is when we are anxious, we repeat the things that might not work, things that are
Okay.
going wrong, things that have gone wrong with your child or with you, and you keep repeating it. Now, if 2 hours of thinking in this manner requires some compensating, like we don't do other side of balancing act at all. We don't take out time to really calm down, and or like I call it mental diet. We're so cautious about what we eat. We're not cautious about what we think. Thoughts just come to us and we just keep dealing with them. Somebody says something, we pick it up and we get affected by it. So where is the mechanism? Where is the filter? Can we actually put a filter where we can choose the response mechanism? And that is where
There's a difference.
There's a huge
There's a difference between reaction and response.
Yes, reaction is like if you throw a ball on the wall, it comes back exactly at the same speed. Now you can control it. Like if somebody presses your button, you react like that, and you're like, but I felt like that in that moment. Response is having a choice, and that cannot be done on the battlefield. If you are a soldier, you can't go on the battlefield and build your muscle. You have to do it before the battle. Similarly, response is where you actually sit down and think, what are the probable options I can choose when the same situation happens? And this is where journaling comes really handy. I call it building your personal best friend. Like it's not like with your best friend where you're relying on the friend, and if the friend may not show up or cannot show up at times. Here you build a mechanism that becomes your best friend. So you learn the technique also for the heck of it, for the technique of it. For your life, you can use this technique. You can teach it to your kids. Even the S stroke or the calming handwriting therapy stroke that I'm talking about, you can teach that to your kids. That's the only thing in graphotherapy, because it's about creating a flow, it's being more centered, finding that spot of being calm. You can use that particular technique with the kids.
So there was one hack that you had to tell a parent out there that can help you kind of center when you're losing the plot. You would say that would be the S technique that you have shared with us in the bundle?
Yeah, so I feel
if
you're in the middle of the situation, you might not be able to ask your child to stop and do the S stroke. That's not happening.
That time everybody's losing.
But the S stroke is woven together with a breathing technique. So it's actually, you do the stroke and it is coordinated with your breath. Now that breath is available all the time. Like in the middle of the workday, when I'm feeling really worked up and there's so much happening, I know my breath is available because when I do that stroke, I practice that specific breath. Now, if I start breathing in the same manner, it has to be cultivated. And I'm requesting everybody who joined the bundle to give it at least 21 days. So that is one thing. Second thing I feel is like we have to understand our kids. We have this thing about good handwriting, bad handwriting, good personality trait, bad personality trait. Being a dyslexic myself, and after having worked with so many successful people who are like really, misfits in their early childhood or in their early college life. Now I've understood that everybody has to be cultivated in a certain manner. And if we can do it, great. If we cannot do it, we have to learn how to do it. Especially with kids, we are seeing the stress is increasing. As parents, we have to learn how to listen. And we cannot listen to them if we do not listen to ourselves. If we have a chattering mind constantly on, you are not available. If your glass is full, you can't absorb and take anything from anybody. So journaling is really learning how to pour your heart on the paper and find your space of being calmer. And this is where it begins.
Is there anything else that you would want to share with everybody out there, given the fact that graphotherapy is not something that people are very aware of?
So I would say that, our handwriting is constantly changing. It can become the mirror for us to know ourselves. We keep teaching graphology. It's a new thing we have started because we realize, one, people are not aware of themselves, and that is the main cause of being stressful. So at any point in your life, if you're feeling worked up, if you're feeling anxious, ask yourself, where am I going against my core nature? Because when you're at when you feel at home with yourself, you don't feel worked up about situations. You can handle them. They're outside of you. But when you don't feel at home with yourself, now most people don't know what being at home means because we don't have any manual. We don't have any framework to look at ourselves. We have 50,000 mirrors around us, so we know exactly how your skin is changing and whether you're getting a pimple or not. But when it comes to our personality, there are no mirrors. So handwriting to me works as a mirror. So even as a parent, if you learn graphology, if you learn how to analyze yourself, if you can, it's one of the skills. Don't like it, don't do it, but explore it. And that exploration begins with your exploration with yourself. So if you begin, looking at yourself from a different light, there's so much scope that one can go through it.
Thank you so much, Aditi, for being a part of
Thank
this.
you,
We
guys.
really appreciate
Thank you
it.
so much.
And we look forward to talking to you again.
Yes, bye bye. Take
Okay,
care.
bye.
For parenting tips, celebrity interviews, recipes, conversations with experts, DIYs, and lots more. Subscribe to Kids Talk Press now.